Yo, what's up? Ricky Sanders here. If you live for fast cars, greasy hands, and solving problems under the hood, welcome to your new favourite spot. I'm all about real fixes, no BS, and showing you how to keep your ride running like a champ. So go ahead, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's make some noise in the garage. Enough talk, let's get wrenching.
This is what some people call detonation. The validity of this term is discussed in the proposed article. What is detonation? In diesels, the mixture ignites on its own due to the high temperature generated in the combustion chamber at the end of the compression stroke. In a gasoline engine, it must be ignited. Spark plugs are used for this purpose. How does the ignition process take place under normal conditions? When a high voltage is applied between the electrodes of the spark plug, a spark is formed, which ignites the combustible mixture. If you watch the combustion process in slow motion, you will see that the flame plume travels sequentially through the entire volume of the combustion chamber from the plug to the furthest walls at a speed of about 50 meters per second. In some cases, however, the combustion process occurs in a different way. After the flame front has begun to spread, due to the high temperature, spontaneous ignition of the mixture in the compressed volume occurs. A pressure wave arises, further accelerating the ignition process, causing the combustion process to accelerate to supersonic speeds. 1 to 2 kilometers per second. This is similar to an explosion, hence the metallic sounds caused by the shock wave. And the latter causes mechanical damage to parts, pistons, rings, valves. Causes causing detonation: high compression ratio in cylinders, unsuitable grade of gasoline or its poor quality, insufficient octane. Number: ignition advance angle is too high, driving at low engine speeds, increased load, increased engine heat, high atmospheric air temperature. Detonation manifests itself only in motion, hence we can conclude that when the ignition is turned off, it is not engine detonation that occurs, but something else. Dieseling: this is the name of the working process in the cylinders of a gasoline engine, which runs like a diesel cycle. As mentioned above, detonation is manifested on a running engine under load. So, it cannot be even at idle speed. So why does not the engine stall with the ignition off? One of the reasons for this phenomenon is excessive heating of the engine with a high compression ratio in the cylinders. After turning off the ignition, the crankshaft rotates by inertia for a few more seconds until it comes to a complete stop, and the time of each cycle increases. Since the ignition is off, there are no new flashes at first. At some point, the high temperature of the air mixture during the increased time interval causes the mixture to heat up so much that it ignites spontaneously, in the absence of a spark. That is, ignition was accomplished in the diesel way. The crankshaft receives a torque impulse and starts to rotate. However, as the speed increases, the duration of the compression stroke is shortened and the mixture does not have time to heat up to the ignition temperature. The flashes stop and the engine stops. But then the compression time increases again, the heated mixture starts to ignite again, and this may continue for some time. Dieseling is generally a harmless process. It does not bring any harm to the engine, while it happens quite rarely. Moreover, this phenomenon indicates that the compression of the engine, excellent, so there is no wear of the parts of the connecting rod and piston group. Caliber ignition: there is another phenomenon that leads to the fact that the disconnected engine continues to run. This is the so-called Kalichi ignition, or Kalilka, as drivers say. Its essence is that in the working chamber, some parts, candle electrodes, the edge of the combustion chamber in the piston, the edges of the exhaust valves, overheat to such a temperature that they play the role of a spark plug. The engine with the ignition off continues to run as if nothing had happened. The reason for this is that the mixture is not ignited by the spark plug, but by the hottest part in the combustion chamber. Instead of a part, this function can be performed by a glowing layer of carbon deposits. There is some analogy with the glow plug in a diesel engine, but in general, the working process occurs as it should in a gasoline engine. Unlike dieseling, caliber ignition is very dangerous because it is difficult to notice it when driving, because the accompanying knocks are drowned out by the roar of the engine. And since it is caused by overheating of engine parts, which in itself should be alarming, this process, not being stopped in time, will lead to even worse consequences. Therefore, if there are suspicions of Kalilka, in the first place should be checked spark plugs. Dieseling or Kalilka? After the theory, we can return to our sheep. At the beginning of the article it was said that a stopped engine can only run on carbureted engines. This is explained by the fact that diesel and injection engines, as a rule, have a solenoid valve to cut off the fuel supply, working from the ignition key. After turning the key, fuel does not enter the cylinders and there is nothing else to detonate. So how do you know what is causing the engine to allegedly detonate after stopping? Although, as shown above, the term detonation does not fit this case. In fact, caliber ignition, or dithering, takes place. But what exactly is it? It has already been said that Kalilka is possible both on a running engine and with the ignition off. As for dithering, it exists only on a switched-off engine. The main signs of the two phenomena are, if after stopping the motor it runs as if in convulsions, that is, grab, stall, then there is distilling. Variable character of flashes is explained by changing time of heating of working mixture for its self-ignition. In conclusion, understanding engine detonation after turning off your car is crucial for any vehicle owner. While it may seem alarming, this phenomenon, often referred to as dieseling or caliber ignition, can be attributed to residual heat and fuel igniting in the combustion chamber. Recognizing the signs of this occurrence can help you maintain your engine's health and prevent potential damage. By being aware of the factors that contribute to detonation and taking proactive measures, you can ensure a smoother and more reliable driving experience. Thank you for watching, and stay informed about your vehicle's performance.